Today's Captain's Blog is powered by Michael Loftus. Thank you, sir, for being involved, for helping out, and helping make my insane ideas happen in reality. You are awesome. Hi there, guys. I'm Chris Boden. Welcome to today's Captain's Blog. It's July 30th, 2019 at 14:48 hours, and I'm here with Tom Lippert in Lansing, Michigan, and you did a thing.
Yep, build a boat.
You build a boat.
Well,
little boat.
it's not a boat till it floats, I suppose.
It's
Close to that.
It's kind of intense. When you started this, it was upside down,
Yes.
and these arches here were actually full wheels that went all the way around.
Right.
Now, what's the diameter on those wheels?
19-foot diameter on the wheels.
And that went all the way around in here.
Two places. The back one was a little bit, wasn't quite as big. I think that was like 18-foot diameter.
Okay.
Back.
And then you rolled the whole thing over
Just
to
like a
right side
barrel.
up.
Yep, just like rolling over a barrel.
Can we show them how you did that?
How we,
With the rollers and that. Can we show
yeah.
that?
The only thing that we had to do, I had a 2-ton come along. You know, come along.
Oh, yeah. Like a
Okay,
coffin hoist.
right. Originally, I was just going to have it go through a winch in the cable, but the cable crossed over and cut itself. So I wasn't able to use it, so we had to use one come along to get it started moving. Of course, once it started moving, the weight, you're talking 12 ton, it was going on over, you know. So then the 2-ton come along was the holdback until you got it. And actually even that a little bit. I don't think it would have done anything if it went loose. It would have just probably did this, you know, in there for a little bit. But the 2-ton come along kept it under control. And even then, when this section was all the way over on one side, you know, so all the weight was way over to one side.
Okay.
And it would ratchet. I'd go ratchet and go about 3 or 4 links and go through at a time. Go brrrt, like that, you know, before it stopped it. So,
And
anyhow,
this has been sitting on that.
yeah, I just left it in there just for, I did have some props in the back there. The way the hull is built, if it was just sat on the ground here, it would sit by itself.
It wouldn't hurt the boat.
It wouldn't, no, it's just the way even though that's only 60 inches, rather narrow, it would be, you know, you wouldn't want to leave it that way, but it would theoretically sit by itself right on the floor and
So-
not tip over. But,
You started this in 1986.
yeah, I don't have to emphasize that.
Well, that's amazing though, because you're not a marine architect.
No,
You're not a marine engineer.
no,
You never built a boat before,
nothing like this, no.
and you just decided, I want a boat.
Yep. Well, you know, we priced a lot of them, and of course, you know, I thought I could do. Of course, the labor, you know, you don't figure.
Yeah.
The labor's worth nothing, basically. But I figured I could do it as cheap as what it would cost. You're talking about. Well, today I suppose it'd be. I'd hate to even think what you pay to have one like this built, but I would say the hull, just even the way it sits, is probably $500,000.
Oh yeah, easy.
Probably.
And this has been sitting here this whole time.
Yeah, I actually what went really fast in because you're talking summertime only work, so just 3 months, maybe 4. And I started 86, and that was just from absolutely nothing other than the rolls of that C-Flex. And in 90 I rolled it over.
Oh wow, okay.
It was all laid up and painted, and that was the thing I was really rushing to get because it was coming on. We rolled it over like in late October, I think, or maybe it was even November. I wanted to get all the paint done because I didn't want to, you know, one day down the road, the boat's going to have to be lifted, painted,
Yeah.
you know, and then moved, and then, you know, because I didn't want to do that right off the bat, so I wanted to make sure I had the hull all painted before I rolled it over, so it didn't have to, at least the first time.
That makes it a lot easier.
Oh, yeah.
And it's the one time in its entire lifetime that you'll be able to paint it upside down.
Exactly.
What's the next step for this boat?
Well, the main thing to be done is the cabin has to be faired, which you can show that, and the prop shaft put in, shaft logs made, shaft logs put in, prop shaft put in, then the rear deck, cabin deck there, that goes down. That's finished off in there, and then we'd finish off the wood in that back cabin, you know.
Now you're getting,
And then the last thing would be, close to the last thing, would be putting your motors in. And that's even possible that you do that when you got to the water. You know, it's possible that might be an option to do that when you got it to where it was going.
so you're pretty close to being done with fiberglass and
Yeah,
more on into
Yeah,
installation of components.
Now, not all electric, but most all the plumbing is in place, other than the stools, and you saw there was different things that have to be done, like the drains for the showers and that stuff. But that's not a big deal there. But the electrical is in the. That's some of it's in. Some, you know, there's a lot to be done with electrical. And then, of course, the prop shaft.
Let's go take a look.
Yeah, that, it'll have a five blade, 26-inch wheel propeller, and the rudder. This is the rudder support, and your rudder shaft to go up right up through here,
And that's all raw fiberglass right now.
yeah, this is here. Yeah, I didn't finish that yet. And this is where your what they call a shaft log goes through there.
What's a shaft log?
Well, it's where your prop shaft comes through. Your stuffing box fastens to that, and that'll be all polysulfited in and then glassed in
Okay.
into this area here. And that way, and then and also in the end of it, for there I'll have a snout bearing. A snout bearing comes out like that.
Okay.
And then your cutlass is in that. Your bearing for your prop shaft.
Okay.
Will ride in that. Of course, then this will be glassed over. And this here is actually made long, but I planned on, actually, I've got these, I don't know if I took a picture of them. This isn't the piece, but I've got these stainless steel pieces that we're going to bolt onto here, and that's actually going to hold your cup for your support for your prop shaft, or for your rudder.
Okay.
Rudder post.
And you've got the rudders framed up over here.
Yeah, they just need to be, the reason that clamp's on there is in order to keep them all in place, I had to leave a tang on there, that tang. Once these are tacked to the shaft, then these will be ground off. These little tangs will be ground off. That way it keeps everything together, and then you can lay the skin on.
And this is a solid stainless shaft.
Yeah, that's a 3/16 inch and a half stainless steel. Yeah. And then, of course, these are 1/4 inch here. The center ones are just 1/8 inch. But the one side would be no problem. You can just tack it all from the inside.
Okay.
You know, both sides of that. The other one's a little different on the outer skin. The outer skin, of course, the top no problem, bottom. But where these are, you'll have to have like a small, like a 3/16 slot every so often, so you could attach the skin to the center there.
Okay.
And you just weld that over and sand it off, or grind it off. Yeah, and then of course, these are just, of course, spacers just to hold it in place. All this will come out once that's done. And then probably have like a rod, a stainless steel rod up the front there, just for to bring the two pieces together, the two plates together, just like that. In the back, I just feather down out just like that. Actually, with the displacement hull, might be argued with, but it's almost as important, or more important, how it leaves the water leaves it rather than how it enters. You know, it's like an airplane wing.
Okay.
That's probably more important than how it enters the water is how it leaves the water, or how the water passes by it.
Let's walk up this side
Okay.
and just tell me things as we go.
Well, that's not important there, but that was the I-beam I had mounted there and took it down. Yeah, this here I didn't finish the bootstrap there, or the line. That was I should have done it right away. That just was a masking tape line.
Okay.
Boy, that masking tape does not, after a while, that does not, it's not pretty. It's hard to get off, but.
Is that still on there?
Yeah,
From 1990?
yeah. But
That's 20-year tape.
yeah. What I do is take a razor cut, go right there, right.
Yeah, you can do it. Now,
barely
at this point, the adhesive's totally gone. So, yeah, just
have to, all this here, this, like I told you before, this was vinyl ester resin, and that's not really a finish. That has to be sanded. And then what it did was I sprayed it on, and look what it did. It was just as smooth as this. The glass was just as smooth as this right here, but now feel it. All orange. When I sprayed
like orange peel.
it all
Yeah.
orange peeled. So
Okay.
that's all got to be. And I should have showed you that upstairs. You ever heard of foam glass?
no. Teach me.
It smells like rotten eggs, but it's very. But what it was made for is for steam, to insulate steam pipes.
Okay.
But it's got like a 40 grit sanding capability, and what it does, it'll like if you have any regular surface, round it over or stuff, you start just flat, and it'll work itself right into it wears away. The one good thing about it, they really like it, is when you have your fairing compound, it don't, a sanding disc, it would load the sanding disc up.
Yeah.
Where this doesn't. That grinds away as you're in. Of course, the block wears away too, and that way. But it don't load up. You can just keep on sanding.
Oh.
It won't load up. I can show you some of it. I'll go up and get a piece of it and show it to you. But it stinks like it don't smell until you scratch it.
And then it smells bad.
And then it smells like rotten eggs. Yeah. But it's a mess. It's messy stuff. You can imagine the dust it leaves. But of course, all that can be vacuumed. But the only thing I don't. You could probably shoot that little bump out there. That's extra. That's for the rub rail. One thing I will have is a swim platform.
Well, you got plenty of room for one.
And there, where I was staying, I'd probably bring like a stainless steel ladder type thing right on down to that, so you could access it from either above or right on the back deck.
Okay.
And then I think that the Zodiac would come right down the back.
Let's head on up that side,
Okay.
and we'll talk about the side of the boat as we go up and just any interesting features or anything.
Pretty much covered everything. This side, of course, the bootstrap, that's another thing. You probably have one on your boat. I don't know what kind of color scheme I would use on that, but hard to say there. I guess whatever colors would be pleasing at the time, I guess. There's not too much. I've got the hose pipes for they're stainless steel pipes that they fit in there. I could have showed you them too. I forgot about it. They're a stainless steel hose pipe. There's a flange on the inside, bolts through.
And that's
for your
for
bow
up there?
lines. For your bow lines, those two on this side or two on the back side.
Okay.
In the back, the cleats would just be on the top gunnel. There's already stainless steel backup underneath there, and they're tapped. They're drilled and tapped there to mount the cleat right on the top of the gunnel.
Okay.
See, there's something
So
else.
how do you feel having done this?
Oh, I know it was a lot of work. I mean, I don't. It was, I don't know if it was say fun or not, but if it floats, I'd feel pretty good about it. Which I think it will. But I was watching the boat show that the guys built, and these were engineers that built this boat, and they says, made me feel a little better. He says, well, we don't know exactly how it will until we get it in the water. How it's gonna. One of the biggest things here is not so much your list front to back as your list side to side. I tried to compensate, like your bathrooms are a little bit. You got a little extra material over there, The generator's gonna be on the opposite side. Your stairs are on this side. But that stuff is a little bit hard.
So this goes in the water. You have no idea where it's going to sit on roll.
This here, at this line, displaces 5,600 pounds.
Okay.
56,000 pounds.
1,000, yeah.
56,000 pounds. And it should be somewhere in here. Once it's loaded with fuel, it'll sit 3 inches lower in the water with 1,200 gallons of fuel. 1,800 gallons of fuel. I think I got 6 tanks. 6 fuel, that's right, it was 1,800 gallons. The tanks, you know, they're not gonna be exactly 300 per tank.
Yeah.
The ones in the middle are obviously the bigger. One thing, I don't know if you noticed, there's no straight lines anywhere other than the deck. This is continuously curving. As it curves this way, it never flattens out. It keeps right on curving back, narrowing up, and same at the bottom. Of course, well, the bottom of the skags and the keel there, that is straight there, but other than that.
What are the basic statistics on the boat? All the numbers.
Okay, the overall length, 49.9. The weight, or the beam would be 16 feet, 5-foot draft, and 56 or 25 ton. That's all. That part's approximately.
What type of boat is it? Like what class?
It's a trawler.
Okay.
Trawler and displacement, full displacement hull trawler.
Okay. And roughly 300 horsepower for drive.
Right, for total drive, yeah. There's Niles Lucander. I don't know if you ever heard of that guy or not. He was a naval architect. And anyhow, he had it came with when they got the information from him, they had a boat that, and actually what his design was, they call it like a crow's foot. It's the center keel like that with the 2 skags, full skags out the back. And that was the part of his design that I went to down to I don't know if you're familiar with University of Michigan, but they have a naval architect school down there. And they actually do design. But pretty much I went down to, I did change some things after they didn't, I had more of the most efficient bow you can have is like you see a lot of fishing boats, they call it plumb bow.
Okay.
Okay, well, by doing that, what you do is your entry is a lot more gradual. So the sharper your entry, and being as a displacement hull, it's not going to go very fast. And they have actually what they call hull speed, and this is probably 8 to 10 knots, no matter how much horsepower you put in.
Yeah,
that's as fast it's going to go. But the more streamlined you are, but he didn't like that. I didn't have it plumb, but I came down a little sharper. And then after I got to reading more in the books, that here's what was developed. That's not it. The lines. And what these diagonal lines, and what I had was a hollow in the diagonals. So, and that is no, it caused a double wake. So,
okay.
So that was so I did end up by bringing this back. I was able to get rid of them also without having to design go all. Which I drew it like 4 times to start with, anyhow. And then here's all the numbers for your what they call offsets. Those are all the numbers for each one of them pertains to one station. One of these stations.
And you did all these yourselves?
Yeah. That was,
Wow.
Yeah. And then this other one was just kind of like a mock-up of
Cross sections.
yeah, the tank. These are when we go downstairs, we can look at that. And these stringers, they run from one end to the other all through. And what I did, which helped, I still get a 10-inch beam, but I buried it into the floor, so I was able to get, instead of having an 8-inch beam with the, you were able to still get the strength of a 10-inch beam without exposing 10 inches. Because headroom is always a big deal here.
And you have a lot of it in here.
Yeah, you're not, you know, I mean, it could easily be, well, our grandson's 6'5". So,
Oh my goodness.
So, you can see where, you had to have it where somebody that tall could walk through here with.
Exactly.
This here unit here is indispensable. That's a saturation unit.
Okay.
It's made for what they use chopper guns. Have you ever?
Yeah,
Your
yeah.
boat was probably made this way.
Yep.
There's a chopper gun that went on top. Mine, I just needed it just to dispose of it. I mean,
So this is all
dispense the
spray
resin.
on, not brush on.
No. Yeah. Well, what you did is you saturated the cloth, you rolled it, and then these rollers here were air.
Yep.
This is what you took.
Little pin rollers.
Yeah, you took the air out of your thing, and then after that, you squeegee it down with it like a drywall blade,
Okay.
and that helps to, especially when you're doing that, pulls it tighter. It's
Okay.
not, it's not as good as a vacuum bag, which you can hardly imagine. Which they do it in
Yeah.
big things.
But you got to be Carver or somebody for doing that.
Yeah, right. That's
Like that's
very
Tiara
expensive.
Yachts
Yeah.
level
Oh,
stuff. Yeah.
They got, that's huge. One-off thing, I probably, maybe overbuilt, maybe, to compensate.
Ain't no engineering like over engineering.
Yeah. This is the wheel room here. This,
And you've even got a wheel for it.
that was winter project. Just the wood. You'll see I got wood in there, and I tried to do that kind of stuff in the winter because you have to have ideal 70 to 72 degree
Yeah.
temperature for to make it comfortable for doing the resin.
Okay.
For it to gel right. And then of course this stairs goes down into this. Here will be a chart table. This will continue up. Your handrail will come up, and then there'll be a chart table and stuff here. Even though they rarely use that stuff anymore, it's all yeoman or the like. There's 3 sets of stairs. That's kind of overboard, but the problem is when you get down there, you see you didn't want to be anybody trapped down here.
Yeah.
So the engine room is in a place where there's a stateroom behind that. So you couldn't have anybody back there if you had an engine or a fire. More than likely to be in the engine room. So
Yeah.
they'd be trapped. So there's a stairs that will come out the back. So the lighting's not that great down here, but.
Oh, it's fine. So what are these?
These tanks here are water tanks. The other ones are fuel and holding in the middle. This here was a job that my wife helped me on that, because I get down in there and there's 3 layers of that chop strand or the woven stitch mat.
Okay.
They're gusset to lay in to this is called the keelson. The
Okay.
center beam, it's 4 inches thick.
And this is a baffle just to keep things from sloshing?
Yeah, that's it.
Okay. Now this are each one of these an individual tank?
Yes, these are here. These here, the fuel tanks will cross flow.
Okay.
They have a vent at the top and then pass through at the bottom. And that can help you in stabilizing your boat. They actually make tanks purposely for that, because when you rock and then the fuel goes slowly in,
Makes it heavier on the one side. Okay.
Compensates. But that's the engineering. I wouldn't have that kind of capability. But.
So these tanks are freshwater.
Yeah, this is just fresh water, like shower and that kind of water.
Okay.
And then there's 100 gallons there that is stainless steel tanks.
Okay.
And that would be potable water there.
Okay.
There'd be a pump there that would supply the sink, and that would just go to upstairs.
Okay.
Kitchen.
So this is potable water. This is like wash water.
Wash water, yeah. And
And
then,
then-
of course, your toilets would be whatever water you're in. Whatever water.
So you'll just
body
pull
water.
raw water for toilet
Yeah.
flushing and stuff like that?
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know. Yeah, even salt water would be. Of course, they would all still go into the holding tank.
Okay.
It doesn't go overboard, but unless you're far enough out, you can.
How many gallons do you have for freshwater?
That's 100 gallons drinking water.
Okay.
Potable water.
Okay.
I think there's like 500 gallons of wash water.
Okay.
Just fresh water. And and there'd be 1,200 gallons of diesel fuel
Okay.
if I go that way.
And the tanks are built like that, like in the floor?
Right, yeah.
Are they already built, or are they in progress? Or?
All are in place. Here's the fuel line. This here will pump out back to the engine room. This is your vent line. I almost made a huge mistake there because I was going to use stainless steel braided hose.
Okay.
And I had a friend that worked for the Coast Guard, and he gave me a sheet on it. That's no good. It all has to be. It can be stainless steel, but it's got to have it's got to have fire rated. It has to be fire rated.
Okay.
Even your vent has to be fire rated.
Okay.
So that's why instead of stainless steel braided hose, it had to be fire rated.
Okay.
And underneath here is just this is, well, take this right here. That's where this little settee, but your fill, this brings your water in and disperses it. And what I have is I can isolate them, so I can use the same one to fill my potable water. I just have to turn the valves, and then these here you would fill each.
Where's the input for that?
That comes right up above the deck there.
Oh, okay.
I didn't show it to you there, but it's right along the side. It isn't up through the hose is there, but it isn't through the gunnel.
Okay.
And these here, believe it or not, are actually, this is your fuel level. Fuel, or this water being water. It operates on you use like a vacuum gauge.
Okay.
It measures inches, and that will tell you what your water level is.
Oh.
Or what your fuel level is.
And you just put a sending unit on there,
Yeah.
or do you read it directly, or?
Well, I figured I would. Can't remember now exactly where I was going to run that. Probably just right here, but the fuel, the actual fuel tanks. This one here, they all go to the back all in the engine room.
Okay.
There's one for each tank. This is that wire. You're familiar with that?
Oh yeah,
It's all.
that's the one part of this I understand.
Yeah, it's plated, zinc coated.
Yeah, it's all tinned marine wire.
Yeah, this here was going to be the bedroom. The bed. Just part of it was mine. It was I wanted to. Yeah, those are just inspection holes.
Oh, these are just access.
Yeah,
okay.
There's no. Yeah, just for. Yeah, there's no.
And this is a access hole.
Yeah. This door here, there'll be like a double lock door.
Okay.
That's why. And in order to, if there was a fire here, you could get out here. If there was possibly a fire here, you could get out and go out.
That's why you have 3 different sets of stairs.
Right. It's kind of, I don't think you see that too much, but a lot of times they'd have a hatch, a hatch right out on the deck. And no way I was not going to have that. If you had water, if that was full of water, you could have 2 feet of water on top of your hatch. I don't think that would be a.
Okay.
So it was
So it's a sheltered staircase coming in off the wheelhouse.
Yeah.
Okay.
And this is where the stool will sit right here.
Okay.
And then your corner sink here. And then this would be the shower here.
And this, I'd like to point out, this isn't like a kit shower. You actually fiberglass all of this in.
Yeah. It's all. This one here is pretty well fared. Yeah, and it's pretty much ready for paint. The other one isn't quite ready yet. And all your plumbing, I don't know if you can see under here or not. Yeah. These are stainless steel tank. That tubing, that's coming from that first tank there.
Okay.
So
that's potable water up there.
Yeah. The drains in that, they will all go. There's this wall here is right in the center of those tanks out there.
Okay.
So they can drain down right into that tank. Both showers. The other shower's backed up.
And this doesn't even have the drain installed yet.
No, it doesn't. Yeah, that isn't
Okay.
done yet either. But some of that stuff is trivial, but it all has to be done. No matter what, it all has to be done.
So this isn't like wallpaper. This is actual upholstery.
Yeah.
And the wall itself is fiberglass?
Fiberglass. Yeah.
Okay.
These here, all they had to have, they're not finished. They need to have like a little knee made just ornamental, but I mean, then there's another light in there. The material up above is a regular headliner material. That didn't turn out that.
Is that just like a vinyl?
Yeah, it didn't turn out that great. You can kind of see where it bled through there. You can see the woven.
How did you attach it up there?
It's adhesive.
Okay, so it's just glued in place.
Yeah, make it adhesive. Now these here are where the portholes would actually be, right there.
And they just haven't been cut on the outside yet?
Yeah, one of them things I was going to wait till later down, as long as I could.
Yeah, you want to make sure that's exactly where you want the hole before you go getting home side of the boat.
Exactly, yeah. So then, it'd be like a double bed there, and then, of course, lockers there.
And now we're over the fuel tanks back here.
This one is these here are sewage.
Oh, this is sewage.
Yeah, you have a little bit bigger pipe there, you see that?
Yeah.
There's another one right here so it's got to be able to, air's got to be able to transfer too. And yeah, the baffles, I got some of them in.
How far over does that go?
Yeah, it goes right over to this is the back edge of it right here.
Oh, okay. So those go full width to the boat?
Yeah, but there, of course, like I said, there's a 4-inch Tilson down the middle there.
Okay.
And a lot of the lead, there's lead right in here. You was asking about the lead. You see that? You have your light there again?
Yeah, we can actually see pretty clear on the screen. You can just point.
Yeah, you can just barely see a little bit of that's one of the ribs.
Okay.
The stringers in there. Well, between that is the lead is all lead in there, and then glassed over.
There's 4,000 pounds of lead in there.
And there's that all the way down through. And then up front there's 600 pounds of one ingot. I made them in one ingot to set down in there and then glassed over top of that.
Okay.
That's under that fuel tank and those other two ones.
Now back here, did you pour the lead in molten or did you do it in ingots?
No, it was all poured in the ingot and then put in place.
Okay. And they're just encased in glass?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, encased in glass. They're glass. They set in resin and then glassed over top.
Okay.
And these will be fill foam and then glassed over there underneath the engine.
Okay.
And so that's sealed off there. Your sump would be in the very back here. Your sump pump that would be open for a sump pump.
So you're down where you're at right now is the bottom of the bilge in the engine bay.
Right.
And that's outer hull right there.
This is, yes.
Okay.
And then your like engine water would be probably somewhere either right in here where you have your seacock, approximately right in that area there.
What are you thinking?
The water line is actually right about here.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, maybe not about there, about a foot.
What are you thinking for engines?
Well, we didn't get like I said originally it was Detroit Diesel, went to Cat, and then went to Perkins. Cat didn't have one built, one small enough that was EPA rated also. So then I looked at Perkins, which is a real good motor, I think, but they were a little on the pricier side. And then I looked at John Deere, which they're still about. But there are a lot of them in fishing boats.
John Deere makes a marine engine.
Oh, yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. And so that was what I was shooting at. I do have some paperwork on it.
So what size engines are you thinking for this? Like what's it designed for?
What is the number there?
Like just horsepower is good enough?
Yeah, it'd be like 175 horse.
About 175 each size.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And original, a guy turned me on to this was I was originally just figured on pumping, taking water right out of the tanks to the motor, but he says that's not a good idea because the slosh factor, and diesels do not like to be run out of fuel. So what he taught me, which I decided to do, was a 20-gallon stainless tank in here on each side. So you'll have a scavenger pump that pumps out of your tank, fills this tank, and then your fuel from the engine, or for the engine, comes out of that tank.
Okay. So this is like just a reservoir tank for fuel.
Yeah. And when that level dropped, that way your engine would never run out of fuel. As soon as that dropped a little ways, you'd have a float that would kick the pump on, scavenger pump on, fill that tank back up, and that'd be.
So you'd actually have 4 fuel pumps Because you'd have two from up front to the reservoir, and then two to the engine from the reservoir.
Yeah, there'd be a scavenger pump right there. That would fill these tanks. It'd be just the one pump. It'd pump out of. What you'd have to do is change from.
So these are
each
all.
one of these you'd isolate the tank. These are all coming out of the tanks.
Okay, so this is just fuel,
Yeah.
and all your tanks are isolated.
Yeah. There's one more right below us there. And
That's really cool that you did a manifold like that.
yeah. And then anyhow, you would pump out of that. Actually, this here would go into your pump, and this here actually goes into this lower tank. That one isn't done inside there yet.
Okay.
But anyhow, and then of course that would pump into here.
Now, is there a similar manifold on the other side, or?
No, that's just because they're cross flow. So.
Oh, okay.
What I originally did do, I don't know if you can.
I can get anywhere you want me to be.
Yeah, if you can step right there.
Sure.
Get this out.
I can come over here.
Originally, this is what we're going to do. The line would run to each tank. Separate.
These tubes here?
Yeah, these tubes. This is just a conduit, and the tank, the tubing would run in and pick up each tank.
Okay.
Each one goes.
But you
like that.
you weren't able to do that?
Well, that was before I decided to do I was talking about the tanks, having this sump tank. And after that, then I just got abandoned there. So.
Okay.
And they're not through the lid in the deck either. So. I was in the process. Go back over. In the process of making these beams. These are solid glass made from that C-Flex. You can see there. I didn't get these done, but there's another one that goes here, and an identical one to that. This one's just shaped just a little bit different than the other one. And then, of course, from that you would hang your motor mounts
Okay.
on that. But a lot of times it should be a cardinal sin. They want to have a wood beam and glass over it. Those people should be hurt when they build it. Because no matter what you think water's going to be in, that beam is going to rot out.
Yeah. And it'll rot from the inside.
Exactly. Yeah, so that should be, because boat builders, they don't care.
So there's no wood in here except for just pretty.
Yeah.
Like everything is fiberglass.
Exactly. That was right.
So it cannot rot.
Yeah, the only wood part is what's exposed there.
And that's all just for aesthetics.
Yes. Yeah. This is the engine access. That whole section comes out, and that's how you bring your motor down.
So they'll come down through this hatch.
Even though they have to kind of come in on an angle because they're about I think that's almost 60 inches the whole motor or something like that. They're inline 6.
Okay.
That's what.
So they're going to come down on end, pretty much.
To get through there.
But they'll come in dry.
Oh,
so
yeah.
you put oil in them down here.
Yeah. That's another thing we want to talk a little bit about. That is, the engine was going to be part of my ballast too.
Okay.
So that's plus actually all the fuel is ballast. Anything below the deck is.
That's a lot of weight you start adding it all up. So
well,
yeah.
that's where you want it though.
Yep.
But that's when you're full. If you're empty, you start losing.
Gets a little squirrely.
Well, it's hard to say how much it affects you. It all depends on what kind of seas you were in. Whether it was a real problem or not.
Okay.
And then that motor would come down. They make them. Well, the motors are. You can get them, I guess, where they're counterclockwise.
Yeah, you'd have one rotate clockwise, one the other way.
But your reduction gears is what you would just have a reduction gear.
So you do it in the transmissions, and both motors would be the same.
Yeah. And then the one motor would come down, then you bridge it across and drop it in over there. Take a little bit to do it, but that's how. I was originally going to do 2 hatches, but then that's a lot of cut out of the deck and a lot of extra work and really no need for it.
Okay.
So, but that's where that's at. And of course there'll be work area back here too, a bench and your batteries, all that kind of stuff.
Where'd you plan on putting the batteries?
Well, actually, these Some of it I was gonna put, depending on how many I had. There's actually, you could access batteries in these compartments. Not so much there because the motor would be right there, but these compartments or above deck, and then probably have a workbench here. The only thing, what you probably didn't, I don't know if you thought about it or not, but is your exhaust, engine exhaust. That has to come up and go through here and out the back there.
Now, would that come out below the water line, or?
Well, no, it'd be above the water line in the where it comes out the back, but it's water cooled.
Okay.
Cooled, so you have to. Anyhow, that's a little bit of a deal. There was another. I saw a design there that I kind of liked the idea of. It came out and went right out the side there and back, and that was in a house. It had a flat on the bottom like that to help compensate for dipping.
Okay.
And then tapered on the top so water would run out. The only problem with that, as you roll, you're digging in. That's more drag. So that kind of idea there kind of went away. but the idea, it had some good points to it. It was a lot easier to get your exhaust out without having to go back through your rear cabin.
Okay.
But it'll be just boxed in, over like that and brought out. And that's done with like steam hose. You've probably seen it.
Yeah.
But there's of course water inside of it too.
So as we're coming back into here, what's this room?
This would be the rear stateroom.
Okay, so this is like a stateroom, a cabin.
You're right.
Type thing. Okay.
It'd be either. It depends on how you want to do the bed configuration. Maybe bunks or something like that. I think I can show you this. This hasn't. The beam is upstairs there, but this has a post. Once this deck is in place, then this will be cut out. And the stairs will be pretty much just like the one in front. The stairs will come down like this and come around, and you'll be at the floor here.
So this is the back staircase for fire safety because the engine room's in between us.
Yes.
Okay.
Just come up like that. And it's actually privatized upstairs because when we go back up, I can show you that area is enclosed. Will be enclosed. That part over top of this opening here that'll all be enclosed. So once the door's closed, you're private back here. You're not just open to the upper deck there.
Well, do you want to head upstairs and take a look?
These are the fuel. These are the hydraulic lines for your steering.
Okay.
The steering bead. They go all the way up to the wheel room there.
So those lines go nonstop all the way up?
All the way to, yeah.
Is there any kind of rudder attachment back here that's accessible?
There will be, yes. Well, not the rudder axle will come up right here. That has to be, have to glass that in.
Okay.
And then your shaft would come up like so. And then your cylinder would be mounted here, and then with your equipment arm off of that, and then that would control your rudders.
Now this is glass. That isn't like steel or anything, or wood or anything. That's
glass. Yeah.
Now what's the internal structure of this?
That looks like that corrugated, just like this.
Oh, okay.
It's just all like that.
Is it filled with foam as well, or?
Yeah, I think these are all foam too. Yeah. These here are not foamed here, or these. These are actually kind of handy in a way. Matter of fact, I've used them up there for a chase. You can put from the engine room, you can put the wire in there and run conduit and run it all the way up to the front.
Oh, wow.
Run it up there wherever you want. It could be.
That's cool.
But the bulkheads, of course, all that, and this is all full. That's all foam too. But yeah, they're solid. It's pretty solid.
Do you have any idea how many pounds of fiberglass and epoxy you've used so far?
Yeah, I got the book there. I think there's probably like 45 barrels of resin, something like that. 55 gallon drums, something like that.
45 55-gallon drums of resin.
At least that. I did the last time I bought resin, I bought it in. They didn't have it. I bought it in 5-gallon containers where they can't remember now why they didn't have the barrel or something, I guess. It's isoresin too, it's not a polyester resin. It's
Okay.
actually isoresin, everything was isoresin. And other than the vinyl ester on the very outside skin.
Okay.
Well, the generator would be in the back there.
So that's that spot back there is for the generator?
And probably this whole, like that wall and the ceiling would be, you'd put your insulate or your noise,
Muffler?
yeah, they make it like a 1-inch thick, it's perforated, it's for sound
Okay.
deadening, and these doors here, there'd be wood on that side and fiberglass on this side. The doors I
Because it'd be pretty on the stateroom
well,
side.
but fire, I'm more concerned with the fire.
Okay.
So, even though the resin will burn like nobody's business, but still it would probably be better than that. Or you could, another thing too, could have it metal coated, I guess, the door, so I suppose. But yeah, engine, or the generator back there. And then of course this here's just your landing there, it goes.
This is the bathroom on the other side.
Yeah, the door just swing in there, pretty much out of your way, and then.
So this is the bathroom for the center stateroom?
Yep.
Okay.
Or upstairs, anybody, but the other one is private for myself. That was the one up front was just for me.
Okay.
Yeah, and then there, of course, here's your door would be. I did have a temporary door here just because I was heating, doing a lot of work in the wintertime. But anyhow, that door would just swing back that way and give you access to that. But,
Where to, boss?
okay, upstairs again.
Oh, we're going this way? Okay.
This here, I don't know if I'd have done it again. I wanted to keep the stations online, but probably would have been nicer if that had been a 30-inch access. Although I have seen a lot of boats here where they don't make it any bigger than they have to, and you can get down through there all right. I guess that's
So
the main thing.
this is center staircase. This is the aft staircase here.
So you just, this will be a door here, of course, and there'll be an actual window in that area. Door would just swing that way or this way, either way, and then you go down just like that, just like the ones up front.
Okay.
Just circle around.
And this here is the hatch for the engine bay?
Yeah, and this is that's the other ways for the engine, or engine ways. It's not, that one wasn't done, I ran out of material. And this here is that's the post that goes in, where that is cut off, that section will be cut off there,
Okay.
and this post goes in. Now this is something a little different here, I should show you that out there. That has a density 5 foam, and it's I'll show you.
Is that 5-pound density?
Well, no, not 5 pound, but it's very rigid.
Oh, okay.
Very stiff. I'll have to show you that out there. Yes. Of course, this here is just the living area. This is the back deck. This will have just a fiberglass door here. Part of the reason that wasn't anything more done with that because the motors, I did have an I-beam set up right there, and I was going to bring the motors up the back and right.
So this is the back deck here, and
Yeah.
it's amazing that you...
And there's part of the wheels are kind of separated there now, but that was,
Oh yeah, we'll talk about the wheels.
yeah, that was something that was there.
This is amazing.
And then the upper deck area, that's something we could look at there, is right above that stairs. There'll be another stairs that goes up it'll just go. It'll be more like a ladder than the stairs.
Yeah.
A little steeper, but I think it's like a.
Is there any easy way to get up there right now and get a look?
You can up there. It's kind of dusty up there, but yeah, you can up there. I'll show you when we go back out. Let me see. Oh, there's the other doors.
Oh, those are all doors?
Yeah,
That
they're
whole
not-
stack?
Yeah, they're not. Well, I don't have the door for this. I haven't got that one made there yet. That'd probably be just like a louver door or something like that. But, of course, this is all cedar also. Everything is cedar.
And this is going to be the galley here?
Yep.
Okay.
If I did say kitchen before, but yeah, galley.
This is neat.
there'll also be a stainless steel ladder, like out that door there, to get up to the fly bridge there.
That'll be out
Yeah,
here? Out this door?
Be outside that, yeah, that little door that you saw there.
Yeah.
2 doors up, one of them's this one right here. And the biggest problem with, I've been crazy about it, but the biggest problem with the doors, with the gunnels like they are, that you couldn't swing the door out. A lot of them have sliders. Case like this, they'd use a slider door, didn't like that either. But the hinges, where the door will be, is the hinge will actually pivot back here. So when this door opens, it gives you full clearance.
Okay.
A normal door would hinge right there, and of course you lost the thickness of the door for your opening. So by pivoting the hinge back here, when the door opens up, it'll be completely out of your, won't block your, and it's only 2 inches, but.
You've really put a lot of thought into a lot of details.
That's details is the killers. Let's see, what else? All right, this here will probably be all covered. This here will probably be all.
With the vinyl like downstairs, or?
Yeah, these will be covered with wood here. This part here, I think I'm going to have be covered here because I've got some lighting and fan issues that I wanted to not have exposed, so that would be around there. But yeah, you know how it was, the beams downstairs were covered with wood? With,
yeah.
Yeah, these would be the same way, like that. And, I guess that's not it on that part of it.
So we're going up to the fly bridge?
Yeah. There's plenty of things to hang on to, so I want to do that.
Now, how tall is the boat up to the top?
I think it's 17 feet to the, no, 17 feet to this deck.
Okay.
About 20 feet to the top of the fly bridge. Super careful.
So show me around.
Yeah,
what do we got?
Okay, then your wheel will just be right in the center, just like that. Your controls and everything will be dual controls. Come feed right up from the engine or the control room on the front.
Okay.
Okay. And that's about it here. There's the entry for you to come up from the lower deck.
And this is all a big deck up on top that you have built like a foot below the rafter beams.
Yeah. That was a deal in itself. This is made in 2 pieces where that center beam is. What I had to do, I had to build this before the walls. This had to be built, hung from the ceiling. You had to hang it from the ceiling.
Oh my God.
And then build the walls and then set it down on there. Otherwise, there was no place to build it. It had to be done that way.
That's amazing.
But,
You got all the boat you can fit in this barn.
pretty much, yeah. I did have to modify this, and I might end up moving it. I figured I could raise this a foot, but not with the way that is. But I need about a foot to come up. Of course, the hull will go down in order for this cabin to clear the back gunnel. In order to clear the back gunnel. So, but that here, this is just all screwed together, so it'll be no big deal to take that off. That'll give me extra room there. And I can move back. Well, I figured on doing it was, I got some big I-beams there. I'm going to put I-beams on all 4 corners. Run some like floor trusses through the windows, doubled up, and then use chain fall. You had to do that, either that or some type of winch, because it's got to travel all the way back down to the floor. Once the hull's out from under, it's got to be able to travel all the way down.
Okay.
So, yeah. None of this is, that's made with that, what I did with this, they build it where they just glass right over this, the whole area, but I didn't like that idea. This here has got where it's glassed every 6 inches, so there's glass from inside to outside. It's not just, so it won't delaminate very easily. I understand what I'm saying? Yep. Okay. And that was, of course, this all has to be fair. That's one of the biggest things, which, you could get the right people and they would do it right quickly, but have the whole thing faired.
That's going to take a lot of time.
Yeah, that's, and just they use a fairing compound, and I'll tell you what, course, I was doing that when I was upside down. That was a lot. Matter of fact, my back was so sore from doing this. I had to just literally roll off I was bad for a while. I had to go to a bone crusher, and he kind of straightened me out. But man, yeah, that was a lot of work.
This is really big up here. Like,
Yeah, that right. There's a whole area. There'll be. I actually figured on having a ladder from the top down to your swim platform out the back, all the way down, and probably use it to put your dinghy in right over the top. Probably just have like a Zodiac or that type of.
But have like a little davit set up to do that.
Yeah,
Okay.
take it over the back, and then of course this year actually I need air, motor air,
Mm-hmm.
and where that wood post was in there, it's just a temporary post, of course. But there's going to put two 6-inch tubing down through that deck up through here
For air intake.
for air intake for each motor.
Okay.
And more than likely, your motors would be completely covered also.
All right. So, what was the hardest part of all this? Like, what was the worst job on the whole thing?
The worst job we had was glassing in the tanks, sealing the lid to the tanks.
Now, how did you? What made that so hard, and how did you fix that
Because
problem?
of small areas to start with, you're talking about let me see, probably about 10 cubic feet that you're crawling into, like crawling into a small refrigerator,
Okay.
and then glassing around the ceiling like that.
So you're wedged in this little
Yeah,
hole.
Got to
Oh
roll
my
around
God.
like this, and all like that. And then not only that, there's stringers in the bottom that your back is laying across.
So it's comfortable
And
as
then,
well.
and then I don't know if you noticed, there was also, I forgot to show you that in there, but that keelson or that skags that go back,
Okay.
they actually go right up in. That's part of the baffle
Oh.
system in the tank. So you have that part to deal with.
So you're laying up fiberglass
Yeah.
with all the epoxy and the fumes and all that in a super enclosed space.
That wasn't epoxy, but that.
It's
resin, yeah.
okay, but yeah, it's like a laminating resin
Yes.
up in there. Okay. How do you breathe?
Okay, that's where the oxygen or the tank compressed air came in.
Did you have like a scuba tank or?
Nope, I had just a regular respirator, rubber covered respirator. Had the hoses run to it, like if you was on oxygen in the hospital.
Okay.
Like that. And then also to your eyes, had to have air coming in.
So
through-
separate
through
from
your
the
goggles.
mouth, you had one
for
for.
your goggles to keep it from burning your eyes, because I found that out right away that.
And you just
something-
ran this off an air compressor.
Yes, just did like a 1.5 pound pressure, something like that.
But like-
just positive.
That air compressor.
Yeah.
That
big.
air compressor.
Yeah, but it'll still, with the regulator on it, you can still put it down. to
Oh yeah, but I'm thinking that's an oil type compressor.
Actually, what I had.
Do you
was-
get like a taste
Oh
from
no,
that?
no.
or-
What I had was the regulator wasn't there. The regulator was right at the end, just before. I had
Okay.
a separate hose, and I had the regulator there.
So you ran like 100 psi up to the boat.
Yeah, because that had to also run your saturation unit. That's all wrong.
Oh, okay. Yeah, the
Saturation.
spray thing and all
Yeah,
that.
that run off from air.
But that's an oil type compressor. There's oil in there.
No, it's just well, oil
In the compressor.
Oh, in the
There's
compressor.
oil in
Yeah.
there.
Oh, yeah.
Did
yeah.
you get like
No
taste
no,
of like?
no
'cause-
no fumes like
No?
that. No, there was actually it was very no problem whatsoever with it. To tell you the truth. It was
Okay.
Real good. And well, like I said, you needed a positive flow there,
And
it worked very good. You never smelled a darn thing. And Peg, she had to have one on too, not so much for her eyes, but she had to have one on up above because those fumes were. Well, she's wetting it out. She's wetting out the blast and then handing it to me down in the tank. So she was.
and you had to do it on your eyes because the fumes would burn your eyes.
Burn your eyes.
Okay.
yes, yeah. But like I said, she had to have one to keep her, because we're all down inside there, so it's still, even though we probably had exhaust air going out.
It wasn't enough down into.
No, it's. I mean, even for her, it was.
Oh,
we had
okay.
air blowing in and out, but still wasn't enough to. You still needed.
I've done a little bit of fiberglass. Nothing anywhere near this scale, but I've done a little, and I can only imagine how bad that had to be
Now,
down in the
epoxy-
tanks.
Yeah, epoxy. That isn't as bad. It isn't as strong.
Yeah, I've done a lot of the West System marine epoxy,
Yeah, and that's-
but I've never done that in an enclosed space. I've done that. We make Tesla coils.
Oh,
So I
wow.
use the clear West System epoxy
yeah.
as my binder for the coil. Like they're all coated in it. It's a PVC
yeah.
pipe with a layer of epoxy and then wind it with copper and
Yeah.
then another layer. And that's fine. I like the smell of that.
Oh, yeah.
But to do this, my
Yeah.
God.
Putting the West System on, that wasn't exactly straight. You couldn't just do the whole thing. You could only do about 100, about a 10 by 10 at a time.
Okay.
And then if you, what you had to do was after that cured, you went over it with a brush, Scotch-Brite,
Okay.
wet Scotch-Brite, and because if you don't, your next coat won't adhere to the first coat. You gotta take that. If it sets, if it's done immediately, but we didn't have that luxury because it was a lot of times it was 80 degrees in here when we were doing that, and so you covering that large area, you just had to cover what you could, you know, like say 100 foot or so, let it cure, then come back over, and you got to do that for every coat.
It's so time intensive.
Oh yeah, there was a lot of. So
Now you've had a lot of injuries doing this. Like you've put a lot of time in this, and you've had some rough days. You fell off
yeah,
and broke your hip.
yeah. Believe it or not, I can't see I took that down, but I had another plank for a table, like on this side,
Okay.
and back on it, and I was just stepping off there onto that plank, and if you were up there to look, how did the guy go through that crack? I mean, it happened so fast.
And you went from all the way up there.
And part of it I might need because I just started wearing glasses. I needed them for close.
Okay.
For close up, but when we looked down, it was blurry. And I think that might have, I put my foot, didn't put my foot quite right, and I think it was like halfway on the plank, and my foot just twisted.
And you all the way
just
down.
as went right through and landed right on the ground here.
So what's next for this? You're looking to sell it, as I understand.
Yeah, I guess, yeah. My grandson.
How serious are you about wanting to sell it?
Well, more or less just because I don't want it to just sit here.
Okay.
So my grandson, he would like to, and I'd like to, nothing better than to let him have it. But he's got so much on his plate. You know,
Yeah, whoever
what
takes
the
this
chance-
is gonna.
and the money, and also the money. I mean, even that probably help him with that, I suppose. But it'd just be easier
I just don't want to see this end up rotting away somewhere.
well, that's the thing.
If you're interested in this, there's a link below in the description to the Facebook ad. He's selling this, and if you're genuinely interested, it's not cheap. We're talking a 6-digit price tag here, but
Well, that's.
reach out and contact him and let me know. I'm curious to see how this turns out because this is an amazing work of art that you've put my entire lifetime into making, and just this is too cool to not see this finished. It's going to be the next generation that finishes it, but I want to see that it gets done, and that's a part of why I wanted to make this. Was I want to help you get the word out because I want to see this live. This is cool.
And if it's any kind of a thing for your students, you know, and that's something you could tell them about, that, you know, be really sure which, the thing that happens, you got so many things out of your control that happen to you.
Yes.
So it's
I understand.
I tell you, this was a thing, you know, of course I just more or less laughed at him to myself. I was on a boat down in a 42-foot Bristol down in Florida, and this was prior to any of this, and I would tell him about what I was planning on doing, and I told him it would probably take 10 years, you know, and oh man, I said, no, he said, it's too long, too much will happen. And, you know, I thought it was bullshit.
So what are the big things that have happened in your life since you started this? Like what?
Well, like I said, things turned south when I fell and got hurt there. And then it just kind of snowballed from there, one thing and another. Next thing you know, my folks died. I have a house that they were that I owned up in St. John's. I had to deal with that.
That's all
So-
right.
So that was, just one thing after another that started coming down the pipe. And every day that you're away from it, it's harder to get back at it. And
Okay.
that was one that I used to live right in here. That was part of the build. I built a place to stay in first, because I knew that if I lived at the house up there and walked back, it was a problem. But we were renting that out, and that was gonna be sold. So I had to have something where I could walk out of my door and go to work on it. 'Cause if you had to drive any distance, you know what happened there? Here, if I had a half hour, I could possibly do something.
Yeah.
And you're not gonna drive nowhere for a half hour work or
Yep.
whatever. No matter, there's so many details and so many things that, small stuff that you wouldn't think about that you can actually do, in a short time. It still have to be done, even if it's picking up. That's
Yeah.
a huge thing there, because that's a continuous job, picking up after yourself.
So you've got 10, 12,000 hours
Yeah.
into this,
Probably.
round numbers. You
Yeah.
started in 1986,
Yeah,
and just this is
in July.
This is in July. This is immense.
Yeah.
This is amazing, and that's a big part of why I wanted to share this, because there's a lot of people that are afraid of taking on a big project. Especially when and this is off the charts. This is a project so big that this won't be finished in your lifetime. This is
Well, it
this
could
is a
be.
generational thing. Well, it could be with
Yeah.
the application of
Yeah.
many hundreds of thousands of dollars.
Yeah.
But you did this yourself.
Yeah.
You didn't have any radical special tools. You don't have $1 million shop.
No.
You got a normal, this is a normal guy's shop. You got an air compressor. You got the basic tools. There was a lot of improvise, adapt, and overcome, figure it out. We don't know how to do this, but we're going to figure it out mentality.
And make tools as you went along.
But like the wheels in that, you had to
Yeah.
make the wheels and zip line them over and all that.
Yeah. Oh,
The biggest lesson that I want to share with you guys out there that are other makers, because I get this a lot, because I build big, epic Tesla coils and stuff like that. Don't be afraid to go big. It takes time. You got time. It's expensive, but you'll hear this a million times in your life. Time is money. If you got time, you can make up for not having any money.
yeah.
And this is a really good example of that. He built a 50-foot yacht in his barn. And yeah, it takes a lot of time. It's worth it. It's beautiful. It's amazing. And
Hopefully it will be to somebody. But yeah, that was, like I said, you can see where that'd be pretty nice down Port
Yeah.
there, and you could, be on that in the summertime or in the wintertime.
well, I don't know what the future is for this boat, but the history of it just to get to this point is epic. And I cannot begin to say how much I appreciate you letting me drive all the way out here
Well,
and get to meet you, because this is awesome.
One thing you could look at, there's money to put into it, but say you put 100,000 more into it, and I probably got like 100 in it,
Yeah.
somewhere in there. And how you'd have at least if you had, being built by a guy like me, it's not worth much, but it's still, if it was built by a builder, that'd be $1 million boat.
Oh, easy. And you get a commercially made boat today. They don't build them like this.
No, that's
You built this
that's
orders of magnitude above and beyond what a normal one would be built like, and because of that, it's more valuable.
They do build some old solid glass hulls, but probably not that thick.
No.
But some of them, a lot of them are built. They might be somewhat that thickness, but balsa cord or some kind of cord, which is is fine, but it'd take a pretty good hit to put a hole in that. I tell you, I didn't.
Well, I boat on the Grand River, and with a 5-foot draft, it wouldn't take long to find out and try it.
You know that, give you an idea, grab a piece of this stuff. I actually, it didn't have the actual outer coating on that. I shot that with a 12 gauge slug at about 40 feet, and it didn't go through it. Wow. It went through here, and blistered the back, but it did not go through it. It stuck, the slug stuck right there.
With
That's
a
how-
12 gauge slug at
12
40
gauge.
feet.
Yeah, that's how strong that stuff actually is.
That's impressive.
And this is actually it kind of did me a shitty there. When I did this, the foam was better. I think it was more hazardous maybe. The foam, you see how
Okay.
Then they come up with another formula. You pour it in, and when it cured, it would shrink. So
What good is that?
So it drew
It'll pull away from the walls.
It did that, or it pulled in some where like in the walls up there they're not continuous.
Okay.
It might be they're not quite as so between that it actually drew the skin in.
Okay.
And that was that. You get something that works, and somebody's always got to make it where it won't work. Or not.
It's better now. It's better for the environment.
That I think.
Think of the children.
Yeah, it's in the isocyanide.
Yeah.
Is the critical part, and that's because I had worked isocyanide. We used to work in the shop there in the chrome tanks. We hated that job. The cyanide, because they buffed the wheels too, or
Okay.
buffed the bumpers there, so all that hair is and that green stuff was hanging everywhere. And we had a fan there that the bearings, because it was above the caustic tanks, and the bearings would go out of that motor left and right. So you were constantly changing. One time, my nose bled for a week after working in that. And here we're so damn, because I was young and so stupid that didn't even have dust masks.
Well, not back then, no. Well, thank you, sir, for letting us come out
Yeah.
and check this out and share your story with the world. I really do appreciate it.
You're more than welcome. I appreciate you coming out. That's pretty neat. Pretty neat deal.
You guys have fun. That's it for today's Captain's Blog. You can get more details on this boat and where he's selling it in the links below in the description. Thanks for hanging out. I'm Chris Boden. We'll see you next time.
Wow.